The Dallas Mavericks have fired Nico Harrison, and this comes 9 months after he traded Luka to the Lakers to bring in Anthony Davis, a 2029 first-round pick, and Max Christie. I agree with this decision. This was a phenomenal move with the Dallas Mavericks. But it's more than just a Luka trade here, and we will circle back to this trade with Nico Harrison. Let's go back to 2022. The Dallas Mavericks, they went against the Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. They were not able to beat the Golden State Warriors in that series. You had Jalen Brunson on this team with Luka. You could have gave Jalen Brunson a contract extension, but instead you let him walk for nothing. He goes over to the New York Knicks, and he has been one of the most impactful players with that organization in a very long time. And it wasn't groundbreaking money that the New York Knicks gave him. The Mavericks could have easily matched that contract. He just helped lead them to the Eastern Conference Finals last season in the playoffs. A couple of days after they traded Luka, this gets swept underneath the rug. Quentin Grimes, who was a solid basketball player, I'm not going to come on here and say that he's on the same level as Luka or Jalen Brunson. That's crazy. But he was a very good guard to have. He traded Quentin Grimes to the Philadelphia 76ers and a second-round pick to bring in Caleb Martin, who is just a solid role player at best, while Quentin Grimes had a very good season with the 76ers last year after that trade. And he has been very good this season as well. And that's the player that the Dallas Mavericks could use right now in terms of offensive production. Even behind the scenes, Nico Harrison was terrible. The athletic trainer for many years, Casey Smith, players loved him. Nico Harrison fired him. And you've already went through 2 trainers since then. And the Dallas Mavericks have dealt with so many injuries since they fired Casey Smith. And it hurt the team morale. It's the little things here with Nico Harrison. Now, he did bring in Daniel Gafford. That was a very good move, in my opinion. You bring in Derek Lively. Very good move. But Nico Harrison has been the general manager since 2021. He has single-handedly went out there and dismantled this team. Trading Luka was a terrible idea in the first place, and now we're seeing it in full effect. They're 16-28 since that trade. And based how last season ended, you couldn't let him be the general manager for the foreseeable future. Fans were showing up at every home game. Fire Nico. They were chanting that. They had signs outside. They wanted him gone. They hated Nico Harrison. You missed the playoffs last year. AD got injured in his first game against the Houston Rockets. Kyrie went down with an ACL injury. Then you come over to this season. The Dallas Mavericks are currently 3-8. They have the second worst record in the Western Conference. We've seen them lose against the Memphis Grizzlies. And they're in a tough situation right now with Ja Morant. This team lost to the Washington Wizards. And they lost to the Pelicans. That's a tough situation to be in. They're 30th in points per game, 29th in three-point percentage, 26th in field goal percentage, 28th in assists per game. And I get it. Kyrie hasn't played at all this season, has a torn ACL that he's still recovering from. So you signed D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell is a streaky player. He will give you some good moments. He'll give you some terrible moments as well. That's why a team has never been fully bought in on D'Angelo Russell. With the Los Angeles Lakers, with the Golden State Warriors, the same with the Brooklyn Nets. He's bounced around the NBA. He's not a terrible player. But he's not a starting point guard that you would want in the postseason. And you signed him. You thought that he was going to change the fortunes early on with AD. And right now, Anthony Davis, he is injured. But you knew this going in. You knew this when you traded Luka, that you were going to go out there and you're going to bring in someone that was injury prone like Anthony Davis. I don't want to disrespect him. He's a very good basketball player, but he's older now. He dealt with injuries in his 20s. He's not going to get healthier as he gets older. He showed up out of shape this season. He had no choice but to. He couldn't work out. He had to have an eye procedure. So he couldn't fully work out there and get sweat in his eyes. So he comes over into the season. He doesn't look the same. The defense is always going to be there with AD, but his offense is so inconsistent. He will give you 30 points one night. Then the next night, he may only give you 15 points. That's who AD is, and he will never be a number one option till you winning a championship. We know with Luka that you could potentially win a championship with him leading the charge. Western Conference Finals in 2022 and in 2024. led you to the NBA Finals. And look at where the Dallas Mavericks are now. That's insane to really think about. And even though Nico is the face of this trade, Patrick Dumont, who is the owner with the Dallas Mavericks, because it's no longer Mark Cuban, he deserves the same energy. I wish that the fans would show up and they'll say, sell the team every single home game. Be as toxic as possible. I'm not saying go out there and go over the top with it. I'm not saying take it overboard, but show up and use your voice. Another reason why they fired Nico Harrison, the ticket sales are down this year. Fans have a voice here. Use it. Patrick Dumont doesn't give a damn about the Mavericks fan base. He's doing his best PR work right now. He's apologizing. He's saying, hey, we shouldn't have made this trade. It's my mistake. I let it go through. It is your mistake because you did let it go through. But look at what you've done to this fan base with the Dallas Mavericks. They loved Luka. The impact that he had with this team was insane. They went from having Dirk to having Luka, just like that. They even played games together. It's really crazy to go back and look at. And you traded him for Anthony Davis, who's older, who is not going to be on your roster in the next 5 to 10 years because of age and injuries. Max Christie is a very good two-way player. I think the upside with him long-term is tremendous, but he is still not on the same level as Luka. And that 2029 first-round pick, who cares about that pick? It doesn't matter. We had a generational talent in Luka, and we hear about that term so much. But he's a true definition of a generational talent. This season with the Lakers, he's averaging 40 points a game. And he went out there, he got in the best shape of his life. For Nico to basically throw him underneath the bus and say, we couldn't win a championship with Luka, we wanted more defense. We wanted defense with AD, Daniel Gafford, and Derek Lively. Imagine if they did not end up with the first overall pick in the lottery. Your starting lineup would be Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, PJ Washington, Anthony Davis. Now, AD wants to be a power forward. He hates playing the center position. He said this with the Los Angeles Lakers and the same with the Pelicans. So you'll have him at power forward. And then you'll have Derek Lively or Daniel Gafford at the center position. That team, even fully healthy, is not better than the OKC Thunder. They're not better than the Houston Rockets. They're not better than the Los Angeles Lakers right now, than the Golden State Warriors, the Denver Nuggets. That's 5 teams right there. This team can't even beat the Memphis Grizzlies right now. That's 6 teams. And the future is dark for the Mavericks. The timeline is messed up. You're trying to contend for a championship now with Kyrie and AD and potentially contend in the future with Cooper Flagg. This is the problem. You have Cooper Flagg at the point guard position. Now, they put D'Angelo Russell out there to play alongside him, which is the way to go. But you started this season and the preseason experimenting with Cooper Flagg at the point guard position. And a lot of people, they'll bring up, well, Giannis and Jason Kidd at work. Giannis always had a point guard. He had Drew Holiday with the Milwaukee Bucks. He has someone to bounce off of. You just put Cooper Flagg out there and just said, basically set up our offense and set up for yourself as well. He's never played the point guard position dating back to his time at Duke and at high school. That's unfair to ask out of a player that's 18 years old. And to the fan base, it seemed like you're trying to make him be the next Luka when he's not ready for that spot. He's been a solid player this season, and I think over the next couple of years, he's going to be one of the most impactful players in the NBA. But I don't see him being a generational talent. Generational talent is Wemby, LeBron, Luka, Stephen Curry. Those are generational talents. I think Cooper Flagg will be a very good basketball player. He may be a top 10 player within the next couple of years. But I don't ever just see him being this guy that's going to go out there and just be the sole reason why you win a championship. And maybe I'm wrong. But I just don't see that right now out of Cooper Flagg. That could change over time. That happened with Giannis. But in this current stage with him and his career, he needs a veteran point guard that can set him up. And the same with AD. It made 0 sense to allow Cooper Flagg to be your main point guard to open the season. Anthony Davis, at his best, he played with LeBron, Rajon Rondo, Drew Holiday. Point guards that could set him up, put the ball on the floor for him, and give him those lob passes. The same with Cooper Flagg in college. He played alongside a point guard. Even Kyrie. Kyrie has never been the number 1 option on a contending championship team. With the Cleveland Cavaliers, that was LeBron. The Boston Celtics, look at how that ended. When he went to the Brooklyn Nets, that didn't end out very well. And they even made a trade to bring in James Harden. He was their point guard. When Kyrie came over to play with Luka, it was a breath of fresh air for Kyrie, and the same with Luka. They could play off of each other. And Kyrie, he could just get into his bag and just be that main scorer. He can finish at the rim. He can kill you from the mid-range spot. He can create shots for himself and for others. But he's better off when he can play off of someone else. Anthony Davis is a way better defender than Luka. But as a player, overall impact, Luka is the better player here. And he's younger. You didn't even get Austin Reeves out of that trade. At least if you got Austin Reeves out of that trade, you have someone that was a very good guard, that could space out the floor, and that could control your offense. You didn't even get him. You got an older Anthony Davis and a young two-way player and Max Christie. And a first-round pick that's going to be a throwaway in the future. So I look at it from this standpoint. You have a brand new general manager in there right now. He's an interim GM. I would possibly trade Anthony Davis to get some draft picks for the future and get some younger players to fill out this roster alongside Cooper Flagg. It's just a weird fit right now with AD being with this roster. The players that the Mavericks have, they aren't terrible. But you're not going to win a championship anytime soon. You're not going to touch the Western Conference Finals anytime soon. And another reason why you really had to fire Nico, because he is the face of this whole thing. What free agent would want to come and play with this team after they just saw what the general manager did to the hero of their team for many years since they drafted him in the first round? A player may come over and they may say, hey, if he traded Luka, imagine what he would do to me. If it doesn't work out in year 2 of my contract or year 3 of my contract, I'll be gone as well. But ownership deserves the same amount of energy that Nico Harrison got over the last couple of months. I hate that it got to this point with the Dallas Mavericks. He could have left well enough alone. I read the report from ESPN and from CBS that Pastor Dumont felt like Nico Harrison used his power and he didn't tell him all the details about Luka and how much he meant to the fan base and the organization. I don't buy that at all. And guys, please do not buy that from Pastor Dumont. He's playing dumb. This man is a billionaire. He owns casinos. He bought this team. Now, a bunch of owners across sports leagues, maybe they don't know the ins and outs with certain players. He may not know who Max Christie is. He may not know who a bench player is, but he knows the face of the franchise. This goes around any sports league, whether it's soccer, baseball, football. You mean to tell me if a brand new owner came out of nowhere and he bought the Patriots right now, he wouldn't know who Drake May is? That's your franchise player. He wouldn't know who Patrick Mahomes is with Kansas City? I'm not buying that. They have so much research built into when they buy properties. That's why it takes so long. Conversations take a very long time in day-to-day business. And we're talking about buying sports teams here. This is the worst trade in NBA history. It's the dumbest trade in NBA history, and it cost Nico Harrison his job. But like I mentioned earlier in this video, it was more than just this one trade with Nico Harrison that did end the Dallas Mavericks. I see a lot of people now, they're talking about the Kristaps Porzingis trade. I'm not going to dock him too much for that situation. Porzingis no longer wanted to be with the Mavericks. You didn't have that leverage there. You traded him. You had to let him go. But he's made so many bad moves. And when you make a move like this, you can't keep him around. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you feel about the Dallas Mavericks moving on from Nico Harrison? And I wish it was a package deal. I wish that Pastor Dumont came out and he said that, you know what, I'm going to step away. I'm going to give Mark Cuban full ownership again. I'm going to let him run everything. I'm out of it. I wish that was the case. Obviously, that's not going to happen because he invests his money and his time with the Mavericks. He's here now. But I wish that was the case. I wish that was the breaking news, that Nico Harrison was gone, and the same with Pastor Dumont. But the future is still dark here with the Dallas Mavericks. You have to find a way to move off of Anthony Davis and that contract because of those injuries. And Kyrie, when he comes back, you can still keep him. But I wouldn't be surprised they moved off of him in the future either because he is older. And the Klay Thompson situation, he is so bad this season. The defense isn't the same. The three-point shot isn't there either. This is the worst stretch of his career. And this is another thing before I let you guys go, before I end off this video completely. When someone like Klay Thompson decides to sign with this team, you have Kyrie, you have Luka. There's a bunch of wide open shots for Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson has never been known to create his own shot. He's a catch and shoot guy. When he played with Stephen Curry and Draymond with the Golden State Warriors for majority of his career, Draymond would control the offense, get to the rim, work inside the post, get those shots up for Klay Thompson, and the same with Stephen Curry. Luka did that with Kyrie. When you trade Luka, you saw that the impact that Klay Thompson had was no longer there. And with Kyrie Irving being out, now you're saying, okay, Klay Thompson, find your own shot and play great defense. He can't do that anymore. He's not a great defender anymore because the injuries that he suffered, torn Achilles, torn ACL injury, and they guaranteed the third year of his contract. Also another Nico Harrison decision. But if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless. Peace.